Hello, I'm Alice Rhodes. Now for our second video, as I continue down working on Lolita fashion design, we'll be doing the skirt with this Care Bear material that I bought. For this one, I am using the pinks. That's why I have a bit less of it here, so that's why I used it for the skirt. So I use this pink one, which is the same print as the purple one, just different colors. And I paired the purple trim with it so it's not the same color on top of it. Let me go back. So here's the design I came up with. I just wanted to keep it simple, but I didn't want like an elastic waistband, so I designed this little front piece, and then I was doing full back shearing for it. I originally planned to do these straps here, and I do sew them, and you'll see that, I think, in the video later on, because I do have some footage of that, because again, just like the last video, I lost a lot of footage for these projects, but it didn't work. I don't think it just didn't lay right. I just did something wrong with it, and it didn't really work or look that great with the skirt. So there won't be any video or photos showing it together. It didn't work at all. But yeah, that's the design that I started out with. And then I did get this little clip here, which is all the pattern pieces I had cut out. If I can get on there, there it is. And so I think I even have the bows cut out there too. Yeah, because I made sure to iron and stuff. And just ignore that my iron used to be out there. And these clips here is me sewing the bows, because for some reason I just didn't lose any of the footage of the accessories being sewn. But the footage is really dark again, because I still haven't changed my setup at this point. I don't think I changed it till after I was done with all the Care Bear projects. But you see, I was working on a lot smaller bows for this. I don't know why, I just decided I wanted some really small ones. So I sewed those. And then I also still sewed a bigger one to go on a headband, which you see there. And I made this more medium-sized one, which I like, is really poofy. And then, where's the smaller ones? Oh, I guess I don't have footage of the smaller ones. But I made 3 just little mini ones that I could use to put in my hair in many different ways. And see, I do have the footage of me ironing these straps out. So I wanted to make sure that it was all ironed flat before I sewed it, to make sure it would lay right. It still didn't lay correctly though. I even ironed with the trim to make sure it would lay correctly. But that did not work out too well. See here, I do have me sewing the bodice to the lining, or at least helping to flatten it down. So after I sewed it together, sewing a straight line on top to make sure it laid nice and flat. And then here's, again, I have the footage of me sewing the straps. I wanted lace going up it with the pink over the purple, a shorter pink over the longer purple. That's what I decided to do. But even though I did all that ironing, it just started to poof up and it didn't lay right, I think. Though I thought I had it pinned correctly, it just wasn't laid correctly. So I think that was the mistake there. Yeah. That was sewing that. And then just have the footage here me starting to work on the back shearing. So for this one, since the elastic cord didn't work, I just did elastic straps through there. So I would just sew straight lines through both pieces once I have them together, which I should have here, just doing the trim. And I make sure the back shearing is double of what the width I need it. So then there's plenty of room for it to stretch. Because I just want it to be super comfortable and then not have to worry about what I'm wearing underneath it. I want to make sure it fits comfortably and it still has that that look of shearing. Okay, so yeah, once I have it sewn together, I just sew straight lines, keeping them an equal width apart. And a lot of that I just eyeballed. But you could also use like fabric chalk to mark it to try to help keep yourself keeping it straight. Yeah, I just sew those in straight lines, keeping it equally spread apart. And then running the elastic through. I always put a safety pin at the end of one elastic and then use that to help run it through. And then once I get it to the end, the elastic to the end of one, I will safety pin it to that end so it stays in place. And then I just use the safety pin to help me run it through. It makes it a bit easier. I know there's some better like hook tools to help pull it through, but sometimes with like really tight shearing, it's harder to use something like that. So I just have a safety pin to pull it through. Then after I get those all through, I use a zigzag stitch to close those in on the ends so that they're sewn down and they won't come undone. Yeah, making sure I take out the safety pins as I sew through it. But I try to just make sure I sew a bit past the safety pins so I can hold them in as long as I can so it doesn't come undone. And this is what it looked like afterwards. See, it's nice and stretchy. It's really tight since I did double, but I wanted to make sure it kept like that scrunched up look even when it was stretched out. Like how you know it's a lolita when you have it all the way stretched out, it's just flat in the back. Then I do have the footage of me sewing the trim, but again, it's very messy because you're just seeing a part of it. Because I sewed the straight together before I cut off the excess. Then sewing the lace down. Then flipping it to sew straight along the edge as close to the lace trim as possible to get the lay flat. I definitely could have made the trim a lot cleaner in this. I was definitely being a little lazy and just not making it as nicely as possible. But this is the finished product. The torso part of the skirt fit really well, so I will reuse that part of the pattern. It was really well done. It fit comfortably. I'll definitely reuse that. I had an issue with pockets again. I made pockets on this, and I had like the same issue that I did with the JSK, where it was puckering in weird spots and it just didn't lay right. And then also, because I'm tall, I gave it quite a bit of length. But here, like, you can kind of see, it just, like, you can kind of see the pockets. They're not as invisible as I'd like. But I might just being really picky about it. And then I have my extra bows that aren't on the headband or just using alligator clips, so I could also clip them onto the dress as well as putting them in my hair. But yeah, I made it longer because of how tall I am, and I just don't think it looks right. I think I need more yardage to make it wider to be able to have it that length and lay the way I'd want to. And the layers of trim don't kind of lay right. The purple short trim is connected to the Care Bear top, the top print, and then the long pink is connected to the bottom. And I don't think I sized it right because you don't always see the trim peak fruit correctly. See, like here you only see the purple. Yeah, it was just not measured out correctly, and I think that was the big issue. But other than that, I think the pattern itself was okay. I think the skirt could just be a bit shorter, or either make the material have it wider to, if I'm going to have it longer like that. And that, I think it worked out really well. I think all my pleats came out in the skirt pretty even. I made sure to measure those out and use the fork method to fold those over. But yeah, that's it so far for my Lolita progress. That's my skirt design. I will have more to share in the future. That will probably have more footage to show the process of making it, but that's it for now. And the next one will be about the OP that I designed. See you next time.